My mobile home that I lived in was completely destroyed. When we found it later that night, the walls had blown off and the floor was turned upside down with the wheels sticking up.
So you leaving your mobile home likely saved your life that day?
Yes, definitely. The good Lord was in all this. No matter how bad the destruction was, He saved a lot of people that night.
The tornado first touched down just northeast of Demopolis, traveling northeast for 139 miles before lifting near Mount Cheaha. The tornado damaged cities of Greensboro, Brent, Centerville, Montevallo, Columbiana, Wilsonville, and Childersburg along its path. Jerry Powell, the former mayor of Brent, was also there when the tornado touched down 50 years ago.
It was like 10 or 12, 15 trains coming by at one time, the sound. And of course, debris hitting, and there was a large oak tree across from the church, and even though stuff was speeding by it, the old tree just went to twisting like it was in slow motion, and it made a full revolution and then just laid over with everything else just flying by.
How long did it last? How long did it seem like it lasted where you were?
About an hour and a half, 2 hours, but probably not more than 15 to 30 seconds.
A National Weather Service office and the radar site took a direct hit from the tornado. Employees had to seek shelter in a nearby ditch, which potentially saved their lives that day.
There was no power anywhere, and we knew from what the few things we could see, this was going to be an upper end horrible tornado.
For one young meteorologist in training, it was his first time to see anything this devastating.
Well, I was just ending my junior year in high school, so I wasn't doing weather professionally then, but my hobby was ham radio. And there was an urgent call from Brent for help. And a couple of friends picked me up, and we went right down there. It was a Sunday night, and we got down there probably within an hour at the time it happened. And Richard, I will never forget the experience. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And I was 17 years old, but the darkness, the human suffering, the smell, the scent of death.
Jim Oakley owned the local paper, the Centerville Press. He remembers the devastation like it was yesterday.
It was just turmoil. People were standing around looking at each other, didn't know where to go and didn't know what to do. Wondered what was going to happen next. Where were we going to get something to eat? What about electricity when we go get the lights on? People were scraping for candles and flashlights.
In 1973, there were warnings, but James and I wondered just how many people heard the warning.
And I don't know how many people heard the warning. I just don't know. But looking at it today, it's a whole different ballgame. Now, instead of that primitive radar display we had in 1973, the facsimile printouts of the radar, it was hard to interpret. It just was a black and white mess. Where now this high resolution, these high resolution images of reflectivity and wind, you can see debris being lofted. And so I think the lead time on the tornado would have been much greater if it happened today.
If it had been at the time of day it happened on Saturday or Monday or any time, people would have been in the stores, would have been shopping and out around. There would have been a lot of people killed.